Chance or choice? So often does life feel like it is the former and not the latter, a chance rather than a choice. I mean, what are the odds that at this very moment you'd be sat here in whatever physical, emotional, or spiritual state you're in, watching this exact video? Chance or choice? The word chance comes from the old French word chance, chance, which means fall or befall, and by definition is the occurrence of any event without any obvious intention or cause. Walking down the street and randomly running into a neighbor is neither intentional or planned, and therefore chance. We have no control over it. And surprisingly, many of us live our lives like this. We wonder what would happen if life gave us lemons. Would we make lemonade? Would you use the lemon to marinate your chicken? Would our lemons be green or yellow? We wait and hope and pray that the universe will work in our favor to give us the oh so precious lemons that we desire, never once trying or even thinking of growing the lemons ourselves. I myself can attest to this behavior. At the beginning of summer, I promised myself that I'd create a film that I had envisioned and I'd been thinking about for a while. I visualized it and conceptualized it and just imagined how great it would be. I'd go to bed and dream about how amazing it would be, how much applause it would get, how much impact it could create in the community, and then I'd wake up and leave it in my dreams. I left the project to chance, and as such, I reaped what I sowed. Nothing. For many of us, it's much easier to live life by chance because there's a 0% failure rate, and sometimes things work in our favor and we have a lot of fun. I mean, randomly bumping into a neighbor on the road can lead to an incredible adventure, and sometimes life can give you lemons by chance. Chance, luck, blessings, and other synonyms can play important roles in our lives. But the thing about chance is, you guessed it, it's random.
The name's Sherlock Holmes.
And probability theory states that but there is a twist. Life is like a game of solitaire. Many of us don't know how to play it and aren't willing to learn how to. Wrong analogy. Life is like a game of Kenyan poker. The initial dealing of cards comes down to pure chance, sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Some of us might immediately be able to say, Cardi, while others may have been dealt the worst set of cards. Man. But from then on, we have two options, chance or choice. Would you randomly put down and pick up cards and just simply hope for the best? Or would you try to strategize a way to put all your cards down? Would you leave the game to chance, or would you make the best possible choices that you can? Would you live by chance or choice? Living by chance is not really living, because at the end of the day, we all want to make something of ourselves. Whether it's to be the best in your class or your field of expertise, whether it's to be the best friend possible, or whether it's to kick an unhealthy addiction. We all want to go somewhere, even though many a time we don't really know where to. And this in itself can be a daunting prospect. What if it doesn't work out? What if this happens? What if? Life is an array of possibilities with varied probabilities of happening. And, like a poker game, we can affect these probabilities for better or for worse. We can choose to wake up early to study, or to sleep in and rest. We can choose to give something our best or to pass up an opportunity because it's not the one for us. We can choose. And choice isn't necessarily the big things. Choosing to sit down and watch this video in the exact physical, mental, and spiritual position that you are right now may seem inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it does have its consequences. For one, you have my immense gratitude, and I hope that you learned something new. But on the other hand, you'll never get this time back. It was worth it though. To show how big small changes can actually be, let's take the example of two neighbors. One neighbor decided he's going to work 1% harder every day, and the other neighbor decided he's going to work 5% harder every day. That small difference of 4% can have a huge impact on the long run. A guy I once met told me that minor shifts can lead to major changes, but those minor shifts can only come by living a life of choice. Living by choice means living intentionally and making the decisions that will best benefit us. Before you hit that snooze button, think about why you set the alarm in the first place and decide from there, is it the best decision to sleep in or to wake up? Before you take on an all-nighter, think about the consequences that will lay ahead. Will you be able to focus in class, or is that assignment so important that everything else doesn't matter? When we become conscious about our actions, we begin to live intentionally, and with that, we're able to increase the probability of life working in our favor. When we begin to realize how much control we actually have over our futures and begin to make choices that benefit us and those around us, then we begin to truly live. And part of living intentionally is making the wrong decisions even though they seemed right at one point. We have to learn to accept, reflect, deal with, and move on from the consequences of our choices such that we can continue to live life as best as we possibly can. We should also be thankful for the ability to make choices. Most of you watching this video could choose to watch it or not to watch it, and that is a luxury that not many people can afford. So be grateful. Choice is a gift that all of us have, but few of us fully utilize. If you've reached this point in the video, kudos to you. And secondly, I challenge you to try and live a life by choice, by being conscious and just being very deliberate in all the things that you do. You can start off by leaving a like, subscribing if you haven't already, commenting, and sharing this video to someone who you think needs to begin living a life of choice. Lastly, I'd like to wish you a stress-free, choice-driven life, and Kick Time out.